Myself, Professor B.N. Kalunkhe, Head Department of Zoology, RBNB College, Rampur. I am going to discuss on a soil pollution. Definition of soil pollution, sources of soil pollution and their effects. Soil pollution is a contamination soil pollution is a contamination of poisonous chemicals. Contamination of poisonous chemicals in the soil, mainly by human activities. Contamination of natural soil or natural components of soil. Contamination, that is addition of poisonous chemicals into a natural soil, that results in alteration in physical, chemical and biological components of soil. Contamination of poisonous chemicals due to human activities that changes or alters physical characteristic of soil. Chemical characteristic of soil and biological components of soil, which cause adverse effects or harmful effects on ecosystem, plants and animals. That is called as soil pollution. It is a part of land degradation. Which is caused by various poisonous chemicals, toxic substances. These may be in solid form, liquid form, or in the form of vapor. The contaminants are of different types. They may be in a solid form, solid waste material. For example, garbage, domestic waste, or municipality waste dumped on the soil. Liquid form of waste, for example, sewage, industrial effluent, and in the form of vapor, that is gases. These are the various poisonous chemicals which are responsible for changing physical, chemical and biological components of soil, that results in causing several adverse effects, harmful effects on entire ecosystem. It may be aquatic ecosystem, for example, pond ecosystem, lake ecosystem, forest ecosystem, grassland ecosystem, or desert ecosystem, that affects flora and fauna that is called as plants and animals. Hence, soil pollution is defined as undesirable change in physical, chemical and biological components of natural form of soil. Natural form of soil is changed or altered mainly due to human activities, and like a water pollution, soil pollution caused by different sources. The soil pollution is caused by different sources. Soil pollution is caused by different sources. And these sources are roughly classified into plant origin sources and animal origin sources. But major sources are of due to human activities or population explosion in case of human being. Population explosion in case of human being. It is the main reason. Urbanization, industrialization, these are mainly responsible for causing a soil pollution. For example, domestic waste. These are different sources. Domestic waste, industrial waste, biocides, fertilizers, detergents, radioactive waste material, fossil fuels, burning of petroleum products, these are the various sources which are responsible for causing a pollution of soil. These two sources are more important. Industrial waste material, biocides and then fertilizers. Biocides and then fertilizers. These are the major sources which cause soil pollution. For example, first source, domestic waste material. The waste material produced by human being and domestic animals, that is cattle, cows, buffaloes, sheep, goat, etc. And a household waste material produced in kitchen and bathroom. That includes human fecal matter and urine. And domestic, another kind, that is waste material produced from cattle, cow dung and urine. It is called as a domestic waste. When this waste material is improperly dumped on the soil, that results in pollution of soil. That is excess material of dumping such waste material on the soil. That results in soil pollution. For example, animal waste material, cattle waste material, that produces a gas, ammonia, that produces, for example, ammonia. Gas, which is harmful to human being. Or domestic waste material contains nitrates and phosphates. Domestic waste material that contains nitrates and phosphates. Addition of excess material or excess amount of, for example, nitrates and phosphates, that also leads to a soil pollution. That also leads to soil pollution. Another example, industrial waste material. Various kinds of industries. For example, sugar industry, textile industry, food processing industry, pesticide and fertilizer producing industries, tanneries, leather industries, all such different kinds of industries, mining industries. These industries produce large amount of poisonous chemicals, that is toxins, and mainly poisonous chemicals, that is toxins, and heavy metals. Poisonous chemicals and heavy metals. When industrial waste material is dumped or discharged on a ground, that is soil, they becomes responsible for causing a pollution of soil. Similarly, biocides, use of poisonous chemicals, synthetic poisonous chemicals or plant origin poisonous chemicals. These poisonous chemicals are used to kill a pest population. That is, to control a pest population from various kinds of crops like jawar, rice, wheat, maize, different types of vegetables, fruit plants. That is for to control a disease or pest population. And biocides, it is a common term which is applied to various application of various poisonous chemicals which act upon a particular kind of animal. For example, pesticides. For example, pesticides. That is DDT, B.Sc, endrine, diendrine, thymate, phorate, malathion, parathion, etc. These are various poisonous chemicals. DDT, B.Sc, endrine, diendrine, methyl parathion, heptachlor. These are there is a large number of poisonous chemicals which are used in agricultural practices to control a pest population. And those such poisonous chemicals which are used to control pest population, they are called as pesticides. Those chemicals, that is toxins, which are used to kill only insect pest population, they are called as insecticides. Those poisonous chemicals which are used to control or kill population of insect pest, they are called as insecticides. For example, another use of the example of insect other than insect pest, chemicals which are used to control non-insect pest. For example, to control rat population, rat and bandicoot population, it is called as rodenticide. Some poisonous chemicals are used to control population of weed. They are called as weedicides. And so on. Herbicides, fungicides, molluscicides, nematocides, they are commonly called as biocides. They are mainly used to control a pest population and ultimately to increase a crop yield. That is to increase a crop production, because these insects or pests, they cause damage to crop, vegetables, fruit plants, and reduces the production, that is crop yield. And to increase crop yield, biocides are used. And when there is a excess use of such poisonous chemicals, they are accumulated in the soil, topsoil layer. Similarly, fertilizers, chemical fertilizers, they are also used to increase crop production and to increase a soil productivity. But when fertilizers are used in excess amount, they contain mainly NPK, that contains nitrates, phosphates. and addition of excess amount of nitrates, phosphates, that also results in a soil pollution. Excess amount of, for example, nitrates, phosphates in the soil, that reduces soil fertility. Detergents are same examples like fertilizers. Radioactive isotopes or radioactive elements or substances, they are also released in the soil, and the main sources of radioactive isotopes are nuclear power plants. Testing of atomic, for example, bomb, atomic explosion, testing of atomic explosion. When there is a test of such nuclear material, finally they are added to surrounding soil, and that causes a soil pollution. Similarly, fossil fuels, petroleum products, diesel, petrol, they are also responsible for causing a soil pollution. Similarly, mining activities, mine production activities, they are also responsible for causing a soil pollution. Mining activities, these are also responsible for a soil pollution. These are different sources which cause a soil pollution, and they also show several adverse effects on the body of animals, plants, microorganisms, and an ecosystem. Soil pollution causes various adverse effects on human beings, other animals, plants, and ecosystem. Adverse effects of soil pollution. These adverse effects are also observed in all organisms. For example, microflora and microfauna. Different animals and plants. Different animals and plants. For example, in case of industrial waste material, that mainly contains heavy metals like lead, mercury, cadmium, zinc, etc. and poisonous chemicals. Similarly, some gases For example, hydrocarbons, benzene, aromatic hydrocarbons, benzene for example. When excess amount of benzene is added by different industries, that is responsible for causing anemia in case of human being. The general disorders which are found by different industrial waste material or sources of soil pollution, these are headache, general symptoms which are caused by contamination of soil, headache, nausea, vomiting, eye irritation, and for example skin rash, or metals, they are causing they are act as a carcinogens, they cause cancer. Heavy metals, they cause cancer in case of human being. And all these poisonous chemicals which are responsible for a soil pollution, they enters in the food chain. That is, they are accumulated at first in the crops, body of crops, vegetables, fruits. They are commonly called as producers. Crops, vegetables, fruit plants, they are accumulated in the body of crops, vegetables, fruits, that is producers. Hence, crops, vegetables, fruits, they are eaten by herbivorous animals. The amount of pesticide, for example, that enters in the body of herbicides. When herbicides are eaten by human being, or crops are eaten, vegetable crops are eaten by human being, from such crops or vegetables or fruits, amount of poisonous chemicals that enters in the body of finally in the human being, they passes through a food chain and finally they reach in the body of domestic animals, human beings, or in any other animals, all kinds of animals. They mainly causes microflora and fauna of soil dwelling animals, microorganisms which are found in the soil layer, top layer of soil. They are adversely affected. And death of such organisms takes place. For example, plant residues. It is a source of water pollution, plant origin source. Residue of plant, dead and decay plant material, they contributes addition of nutrition to the soil. that increases soil fertility. Plant residue, that is dead plant and decomposed plant material that adds nutrition to the soil. Hence, soil fertility is increased. But when excess amount of plant residue remains in the soil, that residue material that contains insect pests, for example, or pathogens, and death of such insect pest, for example, and their decomposition in the soil, that also leads to soil pollution. That is, plant residues is also a source of soil pollution that decreases soil fertility. And ultimately crop yield, that affects crop yield. Similarly, for example, forest fire that kills all microorganisms in the top soil layer. It is also kind of a soil pollution. Jungle fire or forest fire. These are some effects of soil pollution. The heavy metals, they also accumulate in the body of human being. Different kinds of heavy metals, for example, lead, mercury, cadmium, zinc. Initially, they enter in the food chain, that is producers, in the body of producers, and then finally reach in the body of human being. These poisonous chemicals or metals, they enter in the body of human being by 3 different routes. That is, by direct contact, that is, second, nose, and third, mouth. These are the routes or way of entering of poisonous material. For example, a direct contact of soil pollutant, a direct contact that results in, for example, eye irritation and a skin rash. Direct contact with a chemical, for example, nose, through the nose, that is respiratory tract, it is called as inhalation. Inhalation, for example, in the form of vapor or gas, poison enters in the body of animal, that is called as a route which is called as nose. Poison enters by inhalation of poisonous chemicals in the form of a gas or vapor. And third route is mouth, that is intake of poisonous chemicals Intake of poisonous food material. When animal takes food material, for example, a crop or vegetable or fruit, when human beings, that is man, eats crop, for example rice, different types of vegetables, fruits, and even milk from domestic animals, the poisonous chemicals are accumulated, they are added in the variety of crops, vegetables and fruits, and when man eats such affected grains, vegetables, fruits, from such food material that passes in the body of human being, that is called as intake of pesticide, for example, through a mouth, that is taking a food material through a mouth. These are called as three routes or ways or pathways of entering of poisonous chemicals in the body of human beings. Thank you.